Hello everyone, and welcome to the Washington University School of Medicine in St. Louis. My name is Corey French, and I'm a second-year medical student, and I'm also the second-year class IT liaison. In this video, I'm going to go over some of the common techniques to access IT resources at Washington University, and also different methods to make sure that your day is as well scheduled as possible, with calendaring resources, how to access educational technology services such as Canvas, and also some common tips and tricks to make sure that you aren't the person who replies all to your class. Before we get started with actually accessing the network resources, it's important that we cover information about HIPAA and also the security for your devices. As medical students, we can deal with confidential patient information, so it's really important to always be conscientious of this fact. Information which can be used to identify patients should not be kept on your personal devices, and if it must be, should be stored in an encrypted fashion. Patient information should always be encrypted. Anything that's on paper should be shredded after use is complete. There are shredding locations on both the 3rd and 4th floor carrel areas near the kitchens. Please note that you should not be taking pictures within the hospital or taking pictures of any identifiable patient information. In order to ensure that any information contained on your laptop is not lost or used in a malicious way, it's important to ensure that you're securing all of your devices. It's very important to use a complex password on each device and a different password for each of the devices that you own. You should encrypt your data whenever possible. It's easy to enable full disk encryption on Windows PCs or Macintosh OS devices. In addition, it's also important to install antivirus and anti-malware software on your devices to ensure that malicious tools cannot be used to access your data. Device emergency location tracking is useful in the event that your devices are stolen, and this can be enabled very easily with iCloud on Apple devices using Find My Mac or Find My iPhone, or on Windows and Linux with products such as LoJack or the Prey project, which is open source and free for all users. Please be aware of any IT alerts that may be administered and wary of phishing schemes that may attempt to retrieve your personal information or passwords via email. Here at WUSM, we have two sets of credentials which can be used to log into different network devices. For the vast majority of applications, you'll be using your WUSL key ID and password, which is the same information you use to log in and access your email services. For certain other applications, such as the computers available to you and the student carrels, you'll be using MedPriv credentials. Generally speaking, WUSL key credentials are going to be used throughout your services here at WashU. Look for the Accounts domain when you're logging into a device to ensure that you're using the WUSL key credentials. Or you may need to specify accounts / when entering your username in order to allow the system to authenticate you using WUSL key credentials. MedPriv credentials are rarely used, but in certain cases, such as that of the FLTC computers, look for the MedPriv domain when logging onto the device. You may also use medpriv / to specify that you're using your MedPriv credentials to log into a device. On campus, you'll find 3 different Wi-Fi networks: WUSM Secure, EduRoam, and Guest. It's important to make note of the differences between these networks so that you can best access the resources that you need. WUSM Secure is the major wireless network that you'll be accessing when on campus. It's important to make note that when logging into WUSM Secure, your WUSL key ID must be prefaced with accounts /. So, for example, my email address is corey@wusl.edu, so I would type in accounts / Corey, and then use my WUSL key ID password, which is the same as my email password. EduRoam is an alternative wireless network that may be used if you have issues with WUSM Secure. It's truly designed for individuals who are traveling as academics, but you can log in easily using your WUSL key ID email. So for example, I would use corey@wusl.edu and then my email password to log into the EduRoam network. The Guest network is accessible as an unencrypted resource. However, it should be avoided if possible, and is really meant to be used for visitors to campus who don't have academic credentials that would otherwise allow them to log into EduRoam. What's also worth noting is that for mobile devices, WUSM Secure Access requires enrollment in mobile device management. I've included instructions at the link that you see here on how to access mobile device management services. You'll need to enroll your iPhones or Android devices with AirWatch in order to make use of the WUSM Secure resources when on your mobile devices. When you're off campus and need to access network resources, you can use the medical school VPN to connect. This is very simple to do by navigating to msvpn.wusm.wustl.edu. On this website, you'll be guided to download the Cisco AnyConnect Secure Mobility Client. Once you've downloaded and installed AnyConnect, simply enter the med school VPN URL, msvpn.wusm.wustl.edu, and click Connect. When connecting, use your WUSTL key credentials, prefacing your WUSTL key ID with accounts /. You can see an example here to log into the AnyConnect client on a Macintosh computer. You can see that I'm using my credentials, accounts /Corey, to log in. When connected to the VPN, you'll have access to the library resources, as well as other educational tools that you may find useful. Here at WashU, printing is as easy as sending an email. By far, the easiest way to print at WUSTL is to simply email your document to print@wustl.edu. Make sure you're using your WUSTL email to send this document, and you'll be able to pick up the document at a library or Carroll print release station. Simply go to the release station adjacent to the printers and swipe in with your ID badge or log in with your WUSTL key username and password. It's important to note that every semester you'll be given a certain amount of money to spend for printing. If you find that you use all of this money, you can add more using BareBucks, using WebStack. You can see the website in the third bullet to check your quota, furnish your account with additional funds, or also install alternative methods of printing, such as direct print drivers. You can also use the Carroll computers to print directly as well. One of the most important aspects of scheduling your day as a medical student is to have access to the right calendaring resources. So in this segment, we're going to cover some basic issues with calendars, syncing between Oasis, Canvas, and your own personal devices. I'll show you how to make use of the calendaring resources we have here at WashU. One of the most popular resources is to use the Canvas calendar. So to do this, simply go to the Canvas website, canvas.wustl.edu. Then log in with your WUSTL key credentials. Once you've logged in, Canvas will appear. And on the left, you can see the option for calendar. Click the calendar. Here, you can actually make use of the Canvas calendar itself, but most people prefer to export this and use their own calendar apps. This is very simple to do. Simply click Calendar Feed in the bottom left, and you'll be given an iCal subscription. Just copy this, and then take it into your favorite calendar app. I'll show you how to do this with Google Calendar and the default Apple Calendar app, which can be used to sync these calendars across iOS devices and Macintosh OS devices. So we'll simply open the calendar and add file, new calendar subscription. Enter the URL that you copied from Canvas and subscribe. Here you can change the settings, change the location to iCloud to sync it across your devices, remove alerts or attachments if you like, and change the color. Your Mac will then import this and allow you to take a look at it. Alternatively, you can use Google Calendar. Using the same URL that you've copied from Canvas, simply go into Google Calendar, click the plus in your calendars list, and say From URL. Enter the URL of the calendar from Canvas, and hit Add. Give Google a moment, and it'll add the calendar. You can then go back and see that it's in your list. You can change the color and take a look at what might be on that schedule. Currently, I don't have anything coming up, but you can see that the lunch talks have already come in. The Canvas calendar is fantastic for tracking lunch talks and other resources. Another fantastic calendaring resource that we have at WUSM is Oasis. You can find the Oasis calendar by going to wustl.oasisscheduling.com. Here, log in with your WUSTL key ID. Once you've logged in, you can take a look at your schedule and calendar. Simply click Calendar here to get a graphical view. You can see what you have coming up, all of the courses, and you can use the Events check over here to look at courses for others, such as M1s as well. If you want to export this, That's also easy to do. Simply click Export on the left. And here, you can select how you would like to do this. You can select iCal/iOS, select whether or not you want reminders, types of reminders that you would prefer, what course modules you'd like to be included, if you want an all course, using this section. When we have the individualized course, using iCal or iOS, we can click Save, and we'll be given a URL. Copy this link, and move to your favorite calendaring application as we did before. Then, just add in the calendar subscription using the URL that you've been given. You can place this in iCloud or wherever you'd like, and name it something. Change the auto refresh settings if needed. Then this will import, and you can take a look at the results as soon as the import is complete. This can also be done with Google Calendar as well. Where you can directly link using the Add by URL in Google Calendar as well. Simply by clicking plus from URL and entering this URL from Oasis. It may take a while for your calendar to sync from Oasis, so don't worry if things don't pop up immediately. But eventually, you'll have your resources for both Canvas and Oasis in your favorite calendaring application. Another interesting resource that we have are default calendars. So you can take a look in the student comments, which will be added to your dashboard on Canvas. From the student comments, you can see calendaring resources. And here, you can get links to full year draft calendars. You can look at calendars for across the classes if you're trying to plan an event. And there's also personalized calendar feed recommendations and other guidelines from the student comments on how to make the best use of your calendaring applications. Bonus round time. I'm going to go through some common tips and tricks and also some technology that we use personally as medical students to get through our days. You'll likely hear the most about a flashcard software called Anki. Anki is an open source piece of software that can be used to memorize information that comes in vast quantities during medical school. You can download it at apps.ankiweb.net, and there are apps available for all platforms. The iOS app has been commercialized and it's approximately $20 to purchase. There will be decks and resources posted in both WUSM web and on the IT resources sheet that will be posted to your Facebook group. Here, you'll be able to download decks that include all of the information from the courses that you'll be taking this year, but may need some updating to best address the changes made to the courses since the last academic year. There are some famous decks within our school as well that are used to prepare for licensing exams in the second year of medical school. Generally, people use Anki daily, and this allows you to memorize with spaced repetition information from all of your courses. You can place all of the decks from all of your classes in one place, memorize cards, review each day, and come to a consensus on your learning. For note-taking in class, it's important to be able to write up PDFs of PowerPoint presentations. And to do this, we typically use OneNote on cross-platform, or Notability on iOS devices. For lecture playback at a higher speed, you can download video files from the Canvas pages associated with the lectures, and then play them in VLC at 1.6 to 2x speed if you have crunched for time. For file sharing, you're able to access Box using your WUSM key credentials, and this will allow you to store large amounts of data and securely share these with your classmates. OneDrive is also used through the Office 365 subscription included with your WUSM key in order to share certain resources like WUSM web. Of course, we have some pro tips for surviving here at WUSM as well. Number one, and most important, is perhaps to avoid replying all to your entire class. The listservs containing individuals from medical school classes are open for submission from others in the medical school. So it's really important that you do not click Reply All onto these emails and reply only to the individual sending. The default behavior of Outlook apps can sometimes be to reply all, so make sure you look in the settings and change that to avoid the embarrassment. OneNote is a great application for taking notes, but it's limited when you're logging in with your personal Microsoft account. So when you first start new notebooks, make sure you put them in your WUSL Key Office 365 account so that you have unlimited storage and don't run out halfway through the semester. The Office of Medical Student Education is currently making an effort to convert most PowerPoint lectures to PDF format so that you can easily import them into note-taking apps like OneNote and Notability. However, in some cases this may not be possible, and so you can use the PowerPoint mobile app and export the documents as PDFs if you want a completely mobile workflow using an iPad or writing device. Also this year, you should expect to see pilots of cloud-based clicker solutions instead of clicker devices. And also, some courses will be piloting online exams this year. Look for this to come later in the year. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video today. It's been an absolute pleasure to introduce the educational technology here at WUSM to you. Who should you contact if you have IT-related concerns? Well, if you've got information about new initiatives or are interested in the IT liaison position for your class, you can go ahead and contact me at corey@wusl.edu. For IT help with your computers or malfunctions with WUSM Secure or things of that nature, simply contact the general IT support. You could submit a ticket online at WUSM Service Now, or you can email to submit a ticket at citservicedesk@wusl.edu. You can also call 314-362-7798 for more information. If you've got questions or concerns with Canvas, like a missing lecture or something of that nature, you can email OMSI Canvas support at email.wusl.edu, or you can also contact me if you find that there's a lecture recording that's missing, and I'll go ahead and direct that appropriately until an M1 IT liaison is elected. If you have concerns with your MedPriv credentials, difficulty logging in, or get locked out, email Brian Schuler, brian.schuler@wusl.edu, and he'll be able to help you out. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. It's been a pleasure, and I hope you have a great year.